Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Shut Door Shutter, coming back to you with a brand new episode of Craftoria. And today, we actually are doing some shenanigans. Of course, still, we are trying to get towards the Fusion Reactor from Mekanism. What we're actually going to try and do today is get lithium dust, because we need to create enough storage for our power, right? And I won't use applied flux. This mod, in my opinion, doesn't work well enough. There's no way to increase the amount of output or input from the system that I know of. And I don't think that's changed since the last time we've looked at this. Because if that was the case, I would definitely store it in the AE2 system and push it out to our machines and make things more effective. But honestly, the transfer rate sucks, and I wish it would be different. But yeah. It's not as good as I would like. So let's get some lithium dust here, because we're going to go for the Induction Matrix. Now, I don't know 100% how I want to do this, because I have expanded our lithium production. Of course, this whole side is new. This was the one we had last episode. But I think overall, this is actually starting to gain. And if we look down here at the tritium, this is actually having an overall net positive of lithium. So I'm hoping that I can actually kind of just put down... Actually, I can't put this here, can I? Because if I put this here, I won't have a way to power it. So we may have to... Let's just throw these lines down. So I'm going to just set these lines down here. And I'm going to grab the entangler and we'll set this to lithium. And then I think we could just set this at the top. So we'll say tube. Entangler, clear all sides real quick, and then make sure we push out chemicals. Grab our configurator here. Okay. So when the lithium goes in here, it should then crystallize down into lithium dust. And then lithium dust is one of your main ingredients for the basic induction cells and the basic induction providers. These are required to then make higher tiers of a lot of things. Of course, you can make other stuff with them. But yeah, so advanced, and then elite, and then ultimate, and then absolute, supreme, cosmic, infinite, blah, 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 right? Goes on and on and on, it feels like. But yeah, so that is what we're going to need to get. And that is not going to be too difficult. We just need to make sure that we get this all set up properly. So let's get these powered. And I don't think these guys take any special upgrades. They're just defaults, okay? I always want to check that, because I don't remember all the machines that require, or that can take certain upgrades. So, speed and energy, all we'll need for these guys. And I don't know if I want to expand beyond that, because I feel like if we do, we may have problems. Yeah, you can see we're already kind of having issues. So what I may want to do real quick is change this to input, output, and I'm going to actually just input what's in this. I want to empty out this tube. I'm going to put down a tube that is less capacity. So let's just do... And realistically, I'm thinking probably elite is like overkill even at this point for this. But the capacity is much lower. So that is beautiful. So we'll do output. The capacity, yeah, that's definitely not a lot of capacity. I'm liking that. And that should hopefully get us going. I mean, worst case scenario, I need to do another round of the thermal evaporation plants. Do I really want to do that? No, not really, because it just takes so much time. Copy and paste gadget is your friend, but man, it still takes a little bit to get that going, especially with getting all the getting all of the cables and everything, making sure they're placed down. all that jazz. So definitely don't really feel like doing that again. So I would say your best bet is to probably get this into a functional storage drawer, because you're going to need, I think, the lithium itself. Let's see. So yeah, you need 4 per one. And then once you start tiering this up, that is 4 times 4, right? So you've got 16. And then you think you need 4 of these. So 16 times 4. So you just kind of keep adding and adding. So 16 times 4. So that's 64. 64 times 4 is 256. And I think, so, hold on. So this one is 64. This one would be 256. This one would be 256 times 4. So 1,024. Okay. The next one, 1,024 times 4. 4,096 to do 1. Now remember, this is a multi-block, and you're going to need to do this with some other stuff. So let's actually quickly just talk about this. So induction, let's actually just do mechanism induction, I think is what we could look at this. So yeah, you can see the induction cell. We can hold the description. Conductive capacitor capable of storing massive amount of energy. So the induction cell is your energy storage, okay? This is your energy input and output. So output rate is 1,000 or 102,000, right? So not output and input, it's just output. I think the input is just whatever can be pushed into this, basically, and what can ever be stored. So basic 3.2, advanced 25.6, elite 204.8, ultimate is 1.6 trillion, so a lot. And then if we look at mechanism extra, 13.1 trillion, 104 trillion, 883 trillion, and infinite. So the infinite actually does exist and is able to be got, but it's just going to take a little bit. So ender chest, I think we want to use our blue ender chest, but I can't remember the color of that exactly, so I'm going to try and guess a couple times and see what happens. I really should write these down someday, but where's the fun in that, guys? Sometimes you just gotta guess. I'm thinking it's like this. Okay, it is. Beautiful. So I'm gonna throw this down here, and then just grab the item pipes from pipes to pull out of these machines and send it to here. And we'll just make sure that we say output. Okay, so lithium should be showing up in the system. Beautiful, it is. So that is fantastic. So the biggest question now is, are we still gaining on lithium? Okay, we are. Beautiful. So what we just saw, though, with going over the tiers and everything and how much it grows exponentially, is this is going to be a lot of time investment. Unless we make this bigger, like unless we went and just added more chemical crystallizers, which we can do, but we also need to make sure that we are not overusing the lithium, because if we do, there's no way to increase the production unless we added another row or set or something along those lines, right? So, yeah. And you can see we are gaining, so I'm actually going to try and add a couple more of these and kind of just see what happens. So let me get that going, see what happens, and see how many we can get going. And hopefully it's enough to make this not as painful, because if we don't get this going, it's going to be pretty painful. So I'll be right back. Oh no, I did something again. No, I am adding another full line because I think 4 is the max we could actually end up going here. Like, that was the perfect amount because we actually started losing some over here. And you can see that we're still kind of going under. So I definitely need to add more. Originally, I was like, man, I'm just going to add one line. And then I decided, you know what? We're already started. We may as well keep going. So yeah, we're adding one more set. I'm going to try... Well, actually, I want to try something here on camera. So one of the biggest things I would love to be able to do... And actually, I don't know if we'll be able to do this properly. I may just try doing it from here to here. Let's grab, like, cobblestone or something real fast. Okay. I just want to see if I can copy the top of this and see if I can transfer to this spot right here. So, if I were to do this, I mean, it works pretty okay-ish. So let's grab, like, the heaters, for example. That's kind of one of the ones that's a little bit iffy, maybe? Oh, well, they're all placed. And I would assume, like, doing ender gates may be a bad idea, because they are kind of finicky on certain things. Like, they can just straight up disappear sometimes. Let's give that another swing. Kind of? Yeah, I mean, those placed, are they actually valid? I don't think they are. Yeah, so I'm going to have to place these because it's like a fake player placed them. And I think the network is kind of tied to the player's ID a little bit. So let's just get those replaced. So, okay. So, ender gates, no-go. Pipes, yes. Let's just grab these guys. Okay. So that is definitely a faster method to do this. Especially with just pipe placement. So if we actually also grab the thermodynamic conductors. Just get that running. See how that placed? So that's definitely easier. That is for sure. And I could grab the entangleporters. Will that even... That may be something that may be finicky as well. It seems like Mekanism's doing okay with this. So let's just send it. And then we just have to, like, probably configure. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. So I could have probably pulled the entirety of this top part and just transferred it over. But I just wanted to kind of see what would happen on camera. Because, yeah, I've never really messed with it this way. Copy and paste gadget, that is. So definitely some interesting ideas, some interesting things. So if you wanted to make something complicated like this, you could just copy, paste it, and pretty much be okay with that. So that's beautiful. Good thing to know. All right, so actually now we have a overwhelmingly positive amount of lithium coming into our thing. You can see we're actually backlogging on all of these, which is beautiful. I love to see that. So we have a full set of chemical crystallizers. We have a lot of lithium coming in. We have 12,000 from just the... I mean, I haven't even been AFK. I've been actually just building this, and we've gotten that in that times. So something, of course, I see full lithium here. How are we doing on DT fuel? So we are full on DT fuel. So we won't know if there's a very large net positive until this actually starts cranking again. Let's get to building a fusion reactor. And you can see I've already actually built 3 of these. Not all of them are active. That's something we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about what this thing is at the top. But we're going to build this from the ground up first. And we'll talk about it when we kind of go through it. So first things first, we're going to build the Induction Matrix portion. So we're going to get this going. So this is 43 reinforced induction casings. So this, of course, is a 3x4. So we're just going to do that. And then it is 4 tall. Get these guys placed down here. And then we're going to do the induction cells, induction providers. Doesn't matter which way we do that, just as long as we do it. Okay. And then our port is going to be on the top of each side here. That is our input, our output. And then the next thing is going to be the fusion reactor. Okay, so first thing, this thing holds 26 trillion Fe. It is fantastic. It is insane. The output, let's see here. Does it tell me max output here? It does not. But we did put 2, what are these things called? We did do 2 of these. So our output should be 1 trillion? Or, well, no, slightly under 1 trillion Fe. So like 900 million, somewhere in that ballpark. Okay, so beautiful. So that should keep us afloat for now. So let's get the fusion reactor built. So this is kind of built out of order. So this is like something we'll talk about here in a second after we get this built. We'll talk about what this is, why we have a radioactive waste barrel, all of that stuff. And yeah, so a little out of order on this episode. I do apologize, but things were very confusing. I think I was recording part of this episode at like 5 a.m. I did not. I was just trying to power through it, and it did not turn out well. So we're just going to kind of do it this way, and hopefully everything will work out this time. So this is... I guess I could actually quickly talk about the formation instead of just like plowing through it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically it's a 5 by 5 plus shape in the middle. You add corners to that, and then you just expand the corners like this. Okay. And one of the easier things that I've seen is just adding the reactor glass in here. You can actually just use fusion reactor frames if you wanted to here. You don't have to do this, but I think I'm going to do it just because I think it looks a little bit nicer, and you can see the interior and everything as well, so that does make it pretty cool. And then we're going to add the fusion reactor frames on the corner here. And then we just cover up the glass on the top sides. Oop, I am out of this, so let's just quickly grab a few pieces. Did not mean to do 61, but that should be fine. Okay. And then we just need to do the top, which is the exact same as the bottom, except for the centerpiece. The centerpiece is actually the controller, so the reactor controller, and that should form it. Okay. And then we need to add the port. So input. So that's going to be... So this one's the output. Let's actually configure this here real quick. So output, and then on the other side, we're going to do the input. So we're going to grab the entangler we need for DT fuel. Okay. And I don't know if we're going to have enough DT fuel to run all of these. That's going to be something we'll test here in a little bit. We'll probably start up 2 of them. And then if it can hold it, fantastic. If it can't, we may make more DT fuel. But we shall see. Definitely something I want to look at here. Okay. And then let's just make sure that we are setting chemicals to output on top. There we go. Beautiful. So let's get the cable set up here as well, just because we may as well. I don't think... Okay, so you can set that to input-output. So on this side, these should be output on all of these. So that is something I will change here in a second. So the next portion is kind of a patch-ish type of thing to make sure these things are always running. There is a issue with fusion reactors that has been in existence for a long time, and I don't think it's ever going to be patched at this point. It's more like a very crappy feature. And whenever you log out of the world, there is a pretty much 100% chance that the fusion reactor is going to stop running. Now, that's a very big problem, because if you wanted to make a lot of power, this is not going to work out the best. And so what we're going to have to do is kind of create a system to allow for us to transmit the holorums, which is what we put in here. So this right here, this holorum, which I actually kind of forgot to show you guys the recipe for here. Hold on. So this is actually made in a metallurgical infuser. And then you can drop this into a chemical tank, hence why I put this here. And you could put DT fuel in here. And that DT fuel can then just be absorbed by the holorum and then thrown into this centerpiece. And then, of course, you shoot it with lasers, hence why I have lasers over there. And we'll actually start that one on camera so you guys can see it starting and everything. Because it does take a minute. You do need to do lasers and laser in 2 GFE, which is a lot of FE, by the way. So yeah, just keep that in mind. All right. Let's grab an interface here real quick. And then let's go up into our quantum ring that we have here in the center, which of course we'll cut to after we get this done. We'll talk about what we are doing with all of that and how we're getting polonium over here into the into this compacting machine. and that should be fantastic. So, okay. So that should be good there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a crafting card. Actually, I've already got one on me. Beautiful. And we're going to get the holorum. We want to pull in the empty one. And this should, sooner or later, provide a holorum. Perfect. And we're going to grab some item cards. I think I actually need a couple more item cards. Okay. So on the up direction, we're going to extract. On channel 1, throw some overclockers just so this is faster. And on the down direction, we're going to import that holorum in here. And we're going to quickly grab another entangleporter. Clear all sides, do output on front, auto eject on, DT fuel. And so that will allow for us to have the holorum full. And then we're going to extract, pull this one out, extract on channel 1. And this is actually going to require a filter because I want to make sure that we're not pulling out anything incorrectly. So down, extract, filter, full holorum, match tags, and then we'll do this. I don't really think we even need to do that. I could probably just turn the speed up on these, but yeah, just do like this. But I think for now we're good. I will adjust that stuff off camera if I really need to. Okay, and then here we're going to do channel 1, insert, and then also here we're going to do extract channel 2, and we're going to throw in a filter because we want to take in a empty holorum, a match data. Okay. And then on this portion, up, we're going to set this to channel 2. Okay, and then we can't forget to connect these guys. And you should see that a holorum will actually immediately fill that, which is beautiful. So that is our solution. And what should happen is when we log out, after starting this, the holorum should actually get this thing started again. So we are wasting quite a lot of resources doing this method, but I think that's our best bet. All right, so let's get some of this stuff pushed out of my inventory here real quick. So yes, we have over here the laser setup. So this is a laser amplifier. This is set to redstone detection normal, which basically when I push a button or when I flip a lever or supply a redstone signal, this will allow for us to fire a beam directly into the laser focus matrix, which I actually think I forgot to even include on this one. My bad. That is one thing that is needed, like 100%. You can't go without that. And then once you have your holorum in there, make sure your holorum is full of DT fuel. And actually in there, you can smack a button, and this will start your reactor. This is fantastic. That is for sure. So let's grab some cobblestone because I radiated the area, and I can't fly right now. You should see that this thing is producing 80 million FE. All of these will produce 80 million FE, by the way, which is absolutely beautiful. And this should be cruising. So yeah, we have a lot of power flowing in there. And one of these actually was already on for a while. Yeah, this one. And of course, I logged out, so it's actually not active anymore. But with our system that we've implemented, we should be able to log out without any issues. I'm hoping, at least. That's what I saw from several Reddit posts, was talking about that this should allow for it to kickstart again when you log back in. The other thing, we're going to build one of these for each reactor, just because if we do need to manually start it again, then we'll have access. So I'm going to put one there, one here, and one here. And then basically, one's pointing this direction, one's pointing that direction, and then one's pointing this direction. So I'm going to get that going. Oh yeah, also, the lasers, these things aren't, none of this is expensive at this point. It's just, it takes time to actually build up the actual mass amount of energy, as you can see here. And so, yeah. And if we wanted to, we could actually probably kick this power back into our main or create a separate system that would power these independently. But for now, I think we're good. So, I'm going to cut over to us making the radioactive waste cell for AE2 for mega cells. And that is what we're actually using there. So I'm going to cut over to that, and I think we also mess with the circuit slicer. I want to come over here and just mention something else I did, and of course I am wearing a hazmat suit because I broke a pipe with radioactive waste in it. So we have polonium being made over here instead of plutonium and polonium. And this is actually because this will be used to make antimatter. So I just wanted to mention that we've switched this over. So the reactor is now purely being used to make polonium, and that is beautiful. So that will definitely be helpful. So the other thing is, how are we going to move this to where the fusion reactor currently lays? And I was thinking of that, and I think our best method is to do this. Get an entangled ring, the entangle, or whatever it's called, the quantum ring, that's what it's called. And see if we can go about doing this method, because this shouldn't decay the polonium, but we should be able to send it through the ring back to our main system, and then basically do the exact opposite. So send it from our system through a ring to another ring to the actual fusion reactor area, and I think that would be a good way to move this. But I'm not even 100% sure if that will work, because I've never used this piece. And this, of course, is a little bit of work. I'll probably work on this off camera to get the actual backbone piece, the inscriber, the circuit, all of this stuff. And it looks like we actually got the circuit slicer if we wanted to go that way, which requires sky steel. I don't think I have sky steel in any capacity, do I? No, I don't. But I could just quickly do that. Okay. Let me just slash home real quick. I just wanted to mention that, and I'm going to get away from all the crackling and all the beeping and stuff. Let's just quickly work on getting this. We've got that one, or we've got that one. I think we'll send it with this. And that's the wrong thing. We need to go to the reaction, or the reactor? Reactor, what is it called? Reaction chamber? Do I have the reaction chamber set up? I do. It's right there. So let's just go ahead and try and make 16 of this, see what happens. So we'll make 64, of course, because that's how much should come out of this. Okay, so we should be able to get the circuit slicer. Right? We just make this into a block, throw it into a circuit slicer, get the accumulation circuits, and then we should be able to make the rest of this pretty quickly. Okay. Yeah, that way we'll just avoid the whole thing. And I probably should get that stuff, the circuit slicer and everything, set up to be our main use case anyway, to make AE2 faster. But for right now, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to worry about getting everything else going. Okay, so quickly, I was trying to look at the circuit slicer. We do require this whole thing here. So this is, I do believe, every single... Maybe beside... Okay, so even mega cells. So I see that there. Inscriber quantum press. I don't actually know if I have that. So basically, we need every single logic... We need every single press piece that's available for add-ons and all of that. So I'm going to work on doing this. But this is like Craftoria that actually added this piece to make this a little bit more difficult, it appears, which is fine. I didn't know about it. I just want to let you guys know. Yeah, and I don't think I have all of these, so I'm going to have to do some shenanigans. Let's see. Let's actually just quickly throw this into... What was this? The crystal assembler? And see how many of these we actually do have. So we are missing the accumulation, the quantum press, and the energy press. So energy press. This one is charger. Okay, so we just need a charger. We have a charger. Block of iron. Okay, there we go. Inscriber energy press. Beautiful. And then we needed the quantum press. Oop, I did not mean to unbookmark that. So the quantum press... So Shattered Singularity plus those two. Okay, let me get these out of here so I can actually bookmark these guys. So this is Engineering and Logic plus a Singularity. This is the Shattered Singularity. They don't have a crafting recipe for, so let's just quickly go ahead and set that. And we'll hope that we have everything. And so that'll go into an inscriber. Okay. Beautiful. And so that is one more piece down. And the last one is the mega cells. Let's just do at mega cell. We want this one right here, which is calculation and engineering. So calc, engineer, and the singularity itself. And apparently, I took out the acceleration cards for some reason. Okay. Alright, so that is the last one of those. So we should be able to get the universal press. Okay. And then that will go into the crystal assembler to get us the circuit slicer. So crystal assembler to get us the circuit slicer. I need printed engineering circuits. Dang it. Okay, hold on. Let me get that. Let me get the circuit slicer all the way made, and I'll be right back. Alright, so real quick, I made the Mega Radioactive Chemical Storage Cell. Man, that is a mouthful. And we're going to quickly partition this using this cell workbench. What that means is basically this is saying, hey, this is what this is made for. So we're actually going to take polonium, and we're going to shift. We're just going to click and drag. Okay, so polonium, take it from EMI, drop it into there, and this is now partitioned. And then we should be golden to throw this into our drive bay. So I'm going to actually quickly then make the ring here, which I should... Ooh, okay, can I place it like right here? I don't know. This may break it, but we shall see. Okay, nope, too close. Have to set it one away. I was curious if I could just get away with that, but I cannot. So let's just do a little cheatski doodles and push that back one. Okay, and then we're just going to grab this dense Fluix cable, and that should be good, I hope. Okay. Alright, so I will get this stuff ran in the other dimension, get the singularity, get these guys linked, and we'll be right back. Okay, so yeah, this is working. I've got the quantum ring set up over here to the polonium barrel. Got an import bus. Literally one channel is being used in this quantum ring, but that's okay. So that works there. And then, okay. I'll just slash home real quick. So then that is also already set up in the pocket dimension, or whatever this thing's called. Compacting machine. Yeah, that thing. That is already set up there as well. So we should just be able to get a radioactive waste barrel. Let me quickly change my armor. Okay. We should set up a radioactive waste barrel. And I'm going to just set up the absolute one on this end. And we should be able to pull polonium through, I hope. I hope this is going to work the way I'm thinking. Because if it doesn't, that's going to suck. But if it does, beautiful. So export, and then we're going to do some acceleration cards. And then we're going to say polonium. And then radioactive waste barrel. It's working. Very slowly, but it is working. So that is beautiful, but that speed is not. Not at all. That speed is awful. So can I do something like an interface, maybe? I don't know if I can do this, but we shall see. So if I do this, and I grab polonium, we'll even see if we can transmit polonium through this. Okay, so we can. And then can I do like, what's the max that I can do? Is it 4? Okay, so it is 4. So break this. Just try not to break the actual barrel, because that will radiate this entire area. So if I do something like this, and also grab polonium, and we set this to 4, we've got the tubes. Is that okay, or is that slower? To me, that looks slower. Okay, so let's just go back to the original method then, and I don't think there's much we can do about it. Are you kidding me? I didn't even think about that. Well, let me die real quick and I'll be right back. I've radiated more areas in this playthrough than I have in my entire existence of, like, playing with Mekanism. And I think that's pretty sad. I have just been super clumsy with this, but I've also using this a lot more and doing some different methods, and I think that's also a factor. So, we're good. We will just get this going. So, export. We do have, like, the advanced, don't we? I want to see if maybe that might help us. Let's see. There's a stock. There's an import-export bus. Do we have like a... There's an extended, but I don't think that's really what we're looking for. But let's just grab it. Let's see. Extended. Export bus. We're just going to do autocraft. And then that was the crystal assembler. We'll toss that there. Toss this in here. See if this does anything for us. Okay, toss this in here. Acceleration cards. We still can only put a very limited amount in there. I was hoping that'd be like more acceleration cards. So this is probably going to be the best we're going to get out of this. Alrighty, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode with the Fusion Reactor and the Circuit Slicer and everything. I know this episode was kind of everywhere. We had some parts from the future, then stuff in the past. It's just a back and forth, but I'll try and not record episodes at 5, 6 a.m. and be completely out of it. But yeah, it just happened, and I didn't even realize what time it was. I was doing something for so long that I realized that, like, hey, it's like 3 a.m. And then I looked back and it was like 6 a.m. and I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, that definitely wears you out a little bit. But overall, I enjoyed this episode. I hope our fusion reactors will be sustainable enough. We'll check in next episode once I have more of these guys running. And hopefully, we will have a lot of energy coming in. We'll get the SBS chamber, and hopefully antimatter is not a problem. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.